I am Ida Gratte. I'm an indie artist and musician, songwriter. Music has always been a very big part of my life. I could go on for a long time if you want me to tell everything, but I can give you some pieces of my life.
I need much more than a little bit of time.
I've been on stage since I was very young. Started in choirs and musicals and stuff.
I en värld full av besyr, vanterror.
Music has been an escape from reality. I could go into the music and become someone that I wanted to be. Every chance I could take to sing, I took.
It's never been a problem to make her do stuff. It's the opposite. You know, you gotta take it easy.
Some people say never meet your idol, because what if they are idiots? What if you meet them and they are good people? You know, I don't want to listen to weirdos that just pretend that they are cool. When you're young, it's important to try new things. I think that's a part of life, to see what you like. But when I realized I did a lot of stuff just to have done it and not because I want to do it, I felt like something is wrong. I want to do stuff because I want to do it, and not because I afterwards can be happy about it. I grew up in a small town called Nybro. My mom sang in choirs, and I did too as soon as I could. Even though I'm from a small town, there was a lot of music in the town. From there, I sang in school. Me and the piano and the guitar. Was singing a lot in restaurants and did a lot of covers before I did my own songs. So I was singing a lot. So tonight I'm playing here in an old church in Vismar, where they have something called Swedenmal, where the mayor and a lot of important people are. It's a new song that I wrote with Andreas in Sweden some weeks ago. Early on in school, I could choose music, and I did. And every time we had like a break, I was running to the music hall and like sat there and played with my music friends and learned that way. Now we're at Madesjöskolan, where I went from 6th to 9th grade, or no, 4th to 9th grade. And this house was like where I learned how to play guitar, piano, and I haven't been here in years. So weird. And there, over there, people were standing and like smoking and asked me 1,000 times if I wanted a cigarette, and I have still on this day never touched a cigarette. I have touched it, but never smoked one. High school isn't the best self-esteem years, I guess, for everyone, but this house was like the safe place for me. Even if it was 20 minutes of in between the lectures, or how do you say, like the classes, I was just running here, sat a little bit, and then ran back. So, I mean, I'm very happy for what the music here, and Fredrik, who was the teacher, for what it meant to me. That it's one of the puzzle pieces that made me work with music today. So I started to write some music then, but then I think it was after high school that I got more time alone, like to actually process stuff and like, who am I in this world and where should I fit in? And
du debuterade som artist under namnet Miss Sister. Ja, men du har ju släppt massa med singlar och gjort olika samarbeten också. Och hur kom det sig att du började skriva musik på svenska?
Jag har liksom inte utforskat det så mycket tidigare. Hela förra sommaren egentligen skrev jag väldigt, väldigt mycket på svenska.
Så då så kollade jag igenom låtarna jag hade skrivit och insåg att det är ju verkligen en röd tråd genom de här låtarna. Det är liksom det jag har varit med om.
I say I live in Stockholm, but actually most of the time I'm living in my suitcase. Today it's the National Day of Sweden, the 6th of June, and I'm gonna play in Slussen. All my friends and stars are having a festival, and I'm one of the acts. I have the guitar with me, and it's here on Södermalm, so I can just walk there. It's kind of nice. It's so cool to be able to say what I want to say about the world and the society and how I feel in songs and make people connect to who I am or what I say. One of the fun thing is that I almost never like look up where I'm going. It's like today I don't really know. I just know that it's somewhere at Slussen where they have like a new square that they're gonna open today. I don't know how it's gonna look like. I don't know how the stage is gonna be, but I just know it's gonna be fun. Hej allihopa! Allihopa! Hey, cutie! I have one specific moment that I really remember.
I'm tired of being afraid when I'm alone. I'm tired of being afraid when I walk home.
It was like 2016 maybe when I wrote this song that got viral. This song about like being afraid of going home. This was before Me Too, so it was a lot of things that a lot of women wanted to say, I think, that we never done before.
In this world, 'cause it's pretty fucked up now.
I mean, I have always loved music and always going to love music for how I can express myself. But that was when I realized how much it means for me to make someone else feel something. This was before TikTok, so stuff was not viral all the time. And in the morning I had like both radios and newspaper in the whole Sweden reaching out for me. And then I got my first record label and started to release my own music. Okay, so I just got to know that I can play for 20 minutes, and first they told me that I'm gonna play 2 or 3 songs. So now I'm just trying to figure out which more song I'm gonna play. Okay.
Swedish singer-songwriter Ida Gratte has released 2 albums and 1 EP. But now she's ready to branch out. Her latest EP teases a transition to English lyrics. Varmt välkommen upp på scen!
Everybody!
So nice to be here. This is Emma.
My 2 albums that I have been releasing now, every song of the album is like a chapter in a book. I don't want someone to put it on and just press shuffle. You read the first chapter and then the 7th and then the 12th and then the 3rd. You would never read a book like that. So for me, even though every song could work alone, that's why I do albums or EPs, is because there is something bigger. A lyric is the whole story. It's just like, I need to say this. And also maybe because I was doing a lot of musicals when I was younger, it's still in my brain to tell a story.
Jag gillar ju att skriva min musik när jag sitter vid havet. Eller någonstans i naturen. Och den här skrev jag nere i Småland. När jag tänkte på den här sjuka jävla musikbranschen som jag är i. Man har ändå varit i den här branschen många år nu och ändå så är man liksom the indie girl with the guitar. I went down to the water for a while without my phone. Sometimes all I need is to get some time alone. I took a swim.
Jag har fått hem en testpress av albumet. Det är helt sjukt. Alltså, nu är det här. Jag ska lyssna igenom den här idag och låter det bra så kommer snart den riktiga med det riktiga albumcoveret och lite snyggare sån här.
I'm just another girl with a guitar. One day I might go far. One day ses bredvid scenen om ni vill snacka lite eller köpa en LP eller CD eller något. Ida Gratte heter jag. Tack och hej!
Kan du säga? Den här gitarren, eftersom jag trodde jag skulle spela 2 låtar. Av någon anledning fick jag för mig att de sa till mig, det är 2 låtar bara. Jag bara, ja det är lite men ja. Ja. Vilken gitarr lånar du då? Nej alltså, jag körde bara med den. Men det är bara att alla blev i liksom samma det här som ska låta lite special. Men det gör ju inget. I'm a way too big artist to carry my own guitar, you know. I have been home for like 2 weeks in a cold, so it was so nice to just come out from the apartment. And I've known a person who just lays down and watches series, but I haven't had energy to anything else. So it was a good kickstart to my new healthy life.
It's very important for me to be able to say what I stand for. As an artist or as a human, it's our duty to say what we feel and to stand for it. Some people say never meet your idol because what if they are idiots? But what if you meet them and they are good people? Then you know that that you can keep listening to them with a good heart. You know, I don't want to listen to weirdos that just pretend that they are cool. I got this record label and they wanted me to write a lot of songs, which was nice, but I also didn't know how I wanted to sound and I got more pressured. And then I got further away from how I started. My music went from singer-songwriter guitar to pop, and then from pop to even more poppy and electronic. Started to release more EDM stuff. And then I just kept going because it went well. For me, it was cool to see a lot of streams. Like I had millions of streams on those songs. The streams was going in and the money was going in. But also, when the pandemic hit and all of a sudden, from one day to another, I didn't have any gig. I started to think about what am I doing and why am I doing it and for who am I doing it? No, I want to do this my way. So I took a step back and just focused on myself, and then it became more indie.
I met Ida, I think 9 years ago, and she had questions regarding label deals. She wanted to know how that worked and if she get stuck somewhere if she signed this deal. So that's when my first meeting with her. It's never been a problem to make her do stuff and, you know, come on, you got to work hard. It's the opposite. When she slows down, it's about somebody working really, really, like, you know, really working. That's her slowing down. I don't know where she gets the energy. It's just, you know, she's like a nuclear plant. I mean, like a nuclear reactor. So, yeah.
Before I realized music was my work, I just thought I never worked, and I was so happy to live my passion all the time. My friends and family told me, if you keep going like this, it's gonna end bad. And I was like, no, don't you worry. But then we recorded the second album, and I also hit the wall.
Okay.
And no one was surprised.
So I was thinking about starting with like Kan vi gå? And then directly after that we go to something calm, maybe CMA from the EP. And then I have some new songs that we haven't rehearsed yet, like the English ones.
My name is Agnes Hjalmarsson, and I'm a producer and guitarist. Sometimes it's just like do whatever you want to do and try things out. But mostly I've gotten like a demo and then she added more guitar or removed stuff or changed how she wanted it to be. She has a lot of good qualities, but if she gets too tired, she can get a little bit cranky or like the mind is somewhere else and you can't like get to her. Now we do this, okay, Ida gets bored, let's do this instead, like, yeah. And I work very good with that, so I just think it's a bit funny.
I got so obsessed in a crowded place.
We were working on the second album. I kind of burnt out. Not as hard as Ida, maybe. And I burnt out before. I noticed the symptoms. But also, we made an album in like 4 months. People do albums in years. But it's also hard with Ida because she was like so excited and she never had like anxiety and stuff, which people usually get. She was just tired all the time. For me, it was hard to see. Is it just because I got to see other sides of her that I hadn't seen before, or is she like actually getting sick?
Exactly, and then it comes one more time like that.
Sometimes it's like our job to kind of go, maybe you should rest a little bit too and take it easy, because we want to have you around for a very long time, and this is your passion. Make sure that you don't lose your soul. Make sure that you don't get in a place where you feel like it's all pressure and it's no fun anymore.
My body just stopped working. Like I couldn't feel, if I did this, I didn't feel that I had my hand on my body. And then I went to the doctor. I tried to have other reasons why I was feeling so bad. Tried out a lot of glasses to be like, I think that's why I have a lot of headache all the time. And my best friend, she was like, you are not having wrong with your eyes, you are burned out.
That would be kind of nice, am I right?
Oh,
Here we go.
yeah.
Nice. One of my other best friends, she was telling me she never saw anyone working that much except on drugs. And for me, that's never been a problem. So I thought that I was healthy until a doctor asked me, like, how much are you sleeping? And I was like, not so much. I didn't know anything else than working.
And I hear the full arrangement in my head, like with strings and yeah.
Okay, yes.
It's very hard to find boundaries as a creative person. I'm working when I'm in the shower, because that's when the ideas are the best. When I'm out on a walk, when I rest, the ideas come. So it's like super hard to know when you're working and when you're not. So we're leaving your place at 7, or are you coming to our place?
Be ready like 10 over maybe?
Yeah. But we have time to like stop somewhere and eat and yeah. You gotten better with like eating lunch and stuff.
Yes.
You don't go home and close the computer. The mind is still working on something and there's always things to do. So it's super hard.
Vinterns sista snö och jag stod och frös i kön. Jag hade inga planer på att dra ut med handen.
I was doing sessions on daytime, I had gigs on evenings, and then when I came home from the gig, I was so up in my brain. And then I wrote in my bed until I just fell asleep on my guitar. Oh, I'm so happy to be able to live a life that I don't have to work, but I worked all the time. Because I just thought that I was music. What do you like to do if you don't do music? When someone asked me that, I was like, I don't do anything else. Jag försöker hitta hur det är liksom. For younger people, or for people who is in this mindset of you have to do everything, you don't have to do everything all the time. If I could just learn that I don't have to say yes to everything when I was younger, I might not have ended up there. But now I know what to focus on more. And now I can be present. And that's, I think, is what I learned most about my time overworking. still then, when I knew I was like, I'm scared of not being sick enough. Am I worth to be here and have this help if I'm not that sick? And I think it's because you don't realize how sick you are, because they let me in this day after.
1, 2, 3.
I started a rehab where I had people getting me back to my routines, making me sleep and eat and train.
I think we both said, like, we need to rest. We need to rest, like, every day. It's like, let's do this, but we need to rest.
For me, the stages has been the only place where I could be here and now. I don't have to answer my phone. I don't have to be online. I had never tried a drug in my life, but the hardest drug was the stage for me. And some people, I think, like, love can also be a drug for someone. If I have passion for something, I focus on it and I want to be good at it. I don't want to be good at it. I wanted to be best at it. And that's also something I learned through the burnout. I don't have to be best in every room. And now I feel a little bit relieved every time I go somewhere where I know I'm not there to be the best. I'm there to learn.
Ida Gratte, lokalartist, hej.
Hej Maria.
Du är mitt i en sommarturné. Mycket att göra. Hur lång är den?
Det är en never-ending tour som jag brukar säga. Liksom. Men
hur känns det liksom att faktiskt sjunga internationellt utanför Sverige?
Ja, men det är ju kul att resa och få inspiration. Och nu har det blivit att jag har skrivit mer på engelska senaste tiden. Så på min senaste EP så hör man ju en låt på engelska. Och det kommer mer på engelska framöver. Men även på svenska. Så att jag tänker att jag vill inte bestämma mig. Konsten får vara flytande liksom. Ja. Jag försöker att få några dagar bara vid havet också och få ta in, och nu när jag är hemma i Kalmar så stannar jag lite här nu några dagar och få träffa mina mor- och farföräldrar och så där. Det är viktigt att få in återhämtningen mellan allt det roliga. Och det är också kul såklart. Ja. Det här är Around You som är på min senaste EP.
Driving her everywhere, until she got her driving lessons. Do you remember what I said to you?
No.
Never get out of the car.
Yeah, I always locked it from inside.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of grandma in me.
Telling me that everything is fine when I am down. I see your face when I wake up. I wonder how long it will take before I mess it up with you. I always do. Why would it be different this time around with you? It's true, butterflies in blue. I don't know what
I showed Isak in Stockholm all the newspaper things that you saved when I was young. You had like a big album of this, and I still have it. But
I kept it in the papers.
Yes.
I prepared it for the future for you.
Yes.
But then I push you far away. I don't know why I do that. I know it's fucked up, but I am fucked up.
He was like saving every time I was in the newspaper when I was younger. Okay, here we go. 2017, more girl power from Ida Gratte. Yes, of course. And here in high school, and this one is one of the first time when I was on stage. I was 6 years old. She was called Ida in this musical, so I was so happy to get that role, so I could just be myself. I have done a lifestyle where I can live how I want to, but now my goal is to do that and to not overwork all the time. Music was my hobby until it became my work. And then I thought I was working with my hobby, so I just worked all the time. And now I have realized I'm not music, but music is a part of me. And then we have, oh, here's Bosse.
Tack Ida Gratte för att du kom hit och spelade live. Vilken ynnesten fredag.
Tack snälla Maria för att du bjöd hit mig.
Ja. Ha en fin fortsatt sommarturné och lycka till i Tyskland.
Tack, tack.
Jag får fan ståpäls när du sjunger. Det är helt sjukt.
Ja, det var jättesnyggt.
På riktigt. Ja.
Ja, du hörde mixen i luren.
Får jag ge dig en kram? Och alltid så tillgänglig.
Så jag hade inte blivit den jag är utan er. Så att, tack för att jag är lika tacksam för er.
Tack för det.
Tack snälla då. Lycka till med resten av sändningen. Ni always liksom på tårna. When I was younger, I used music for a way to escape reality. And nowadays I feel like it's more a way for me to connect to reality.
I see the trees, rivers and fields and the mountains. I see the leaves, flowers and bees in the sun.
Now I'm just sitting here and soaking in the last sun of the day and just trying to relax my ears a bit, because when you're going into the studio you want them to be ready for a lot of small details. So it's kind of hard when you're in town. You hear a lot of things around. I'm gonna meet up with Edvin, a guy that I wrote a song called Oh My God with, and we're gonna do the final fixing of the master, and then it's gonna be ready for release.
I think Ida, she definitely has an attention to detail.
Go down to the bunker.
When we're writing the song, she's like constantly working over the perfect words, and also amazing singer. Like it's mostly just one takes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy.
I want my vocals to come forward a little bit more, but we can listen. Now it feels better.
The most difficult thing when working as a mixer and producer with artists, I think it can be finding like the common vocabulary, because they say something and I'm like, okay, so do you mean like the bass is too loud, or do you mean like the bass frequencies, or do you mean something specific? What do you mean? You start to form a common language. So I start understanding them and they start understanding me. Just finding that way of understanding each other.
So I guess then we have a little bit more punch to the chorus,
yeah,
and we have a little bit less drums in the verse.
Yeah.
It's just me now. I have a little bit hard time hearing the kick in the verse, but I guess these ones are a little bit.
Du lämnar inte svenskan heller då?
Nej, det känns som om jag måste få skriva av mig på svenska också. Men när man har gjort 2 album och en EP på svenska så kändes det som om när jag började skriva på engelska igen, för det gjorde jag förr när jag var yngre, så var det på ett nytt sätt tror jag. Jag var lite mognare sätt att skriva på engelska.
Hur påverkas liksom musiken av att det på engelska gör en det? Eller spelar
jag
det ingen roll?
tror inte det. Utan det är att när jag är utomlands och pratar mycket på engelska så blir det att jag börjar tänka på engelska. Och jag blandar både det svenska och engelska, så tänkte jag först att vad kommer publiken säga om det, men de flesta förstår ju det.
I think we're done. I think we're done. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Let's bounce the final version.
yes.
Oof. It's beautiful.
The last bounce. People always change, and I always change. And I want to be able to do that and to let my listeners know that. It's not been a straight line, but I'm also not straight. Now it's like the hardworking season, and everyone sees that you do a lot as an artist during summer, and you tour and you're around a lot, and some people might think it's gonna be calm months after this, like in the autumn or in the winter, but it's like very hard to find that balance when you never have the same routines throughout the year. It's still hard to get into that when you're out touring and like trying to get the time by the nature or taking a swim. But it's like, I want to be able to do this my whole life, so it's important to think about it and not just letting your health aside because you're not gonna do good music if you're a stressy mess.
I have a little set list planned in my head, even though I'm gonna change it, but it's good to have a plan at least. Oh my god, the song that I finished with Edwin the other day in the studio, I think I'm gonna do like an acoustic version of it, just to make people like excited for the new song. And yeah. So now we just went on the bridge over to Öland, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. It's a lot of water and I always feel very calm coming here. So before my burnout, I wasn't driving the day before somewhere. The next day I went somewhere else to play. So now I'm trying to be more healthy. And the merge. Yeah, go somewhere the day before. You have a good sleep there and have time to just calm down before the show. Take time. You should also have a good time on the road. So now we're on Öland. My grandparents has an apartment here. So I used to borrow it when I come down to play nearby here. I mean, it's nice to stay in hotels as well, but sometimes it's nice to just be somewhere where you recognize. I'm gonna hang out with my family during the weekend because I'm gonna stay after the gig, but before it's nice to just take it a little bit easy. I wonder how long it will take before I'll miss you. Today we're going to Kalmar Stadsfest. I'm gonna play at Larmtorget. I have been playing there a lot throughout the years. I think it can be a good amount of people there today. Some people will be like, oh my god, why are you not having the biggest brands or whatever? I don't care. I could buy my makeup on a grocery store. I don't know. I couldn't care less. Very indie of me, I know.
She always wanted to do her thing and make sure that nobody stopped her from doing her thing and what she felt like she should do. And I guess that's one of the reasons she decided to release her own music and do her own thing, because then she was in charge.
Yes.
She's like a magnet. You know, people want to work with her because there's a lot of positive, energy and everything, which is really nice to be around.
Where is everybody going out of their minds?
Det känns bra. Och sen så tar vi en sista gång på den. Kan jag dra ut den här nu då, Filip? Ja, eller alltså, säg till när jag kan göra det.
Ja, kvällens första akt här på årets stadsfest för Kalmar. Hennes hemmaplan får man även säga. Talent coach och Kalmar stadsfest presenterar Ida Gratte!
You're not looking in my eyes 'cause you're not here, but you're not really there.
Art is not only 5 seconds or 15 seconds. I know it's a lot to ask for, to make people listen to an album that is 25 minutes. But if they do, they will feel and understand and go through art the way I think art is meant to be. You don't go on an art exhibition and just run through it. You need to be able to see every piece of the art to understand the full meaning of it.
Sunday afternoon in New York City, wish you were with me. What if the stars in the sky?
I did feel like I finally wrote the way I wanted to, from my heart and exactly what I felt like.
Already got a wife. What if the earth keeps on spinning? Even if I'm not winning this game, I don't wanna play.
In Sweden we have this law called jantelagen. It's not too good, not too bad. It's like in between. And that's where everyone is aiming here in Sweden. When I go to cities like Berlin or Brighton, I feel like more indie people are there having more dreams. Doesn't have to be the big dreams of standing on the big stages. The dream can be to be able to live and have a beautiful and passionate life. I just feel like people need to just see the world and to take it in so they can process it and do art with it. Because we have all the opportunities to go and to live and to be the person you want to. And so many people just don't.
Sunday afternoon in New York City in February.
If I look forward, sometimes I can be scared when I do that because no one knows how the future is gonna look like in the industry way. But I also know that we need the feelings and we need the live meetings. That's never gonna change. I think that people will more and more get it, that we need each other.
Vad är det för skillnad att stå och förmedla musik på en sommarscen gentemot kanske en spelning i oktober?
Ja, men det är ju fint att få vara utomhus. På Larmtorget har man ju stått många gånger. Så det känns väldigt sommar för mig att vara där och se folk.
It felt really good. It was fun. Always fun to play with Ida. She's such a talented artist and we're humbled to be a part of it.
I knocked one of my tuners on the way up. So the guitar was mostly in tune, I think.
So, about 80% in tune.
Yeah, 80% in tune.
But that's enough. That's enough. You know, we're rock and roll artists, so it shouldn't be perfect.
No.
Oh my God, herregud, har nog aldrig sett något vackrare än du.
She's a rock star, I would say. She takes on the stage and can do, I think she could do whatever she likes. I mean, fill up this stage, Larmtorget by herself. I mean, that's not all artists can do that.
Thank you, larmet håller.
Tack så bra ju. Alltid bröstigt att jobba med er.
Detsamma.
Tackar. Okej. Nu är det slut. Ska vi ta en liten selfie? She's grown. I mean, of course she's got older, but also growing into the artist she is today. Hej Maxvik och hej, tack för att ni var här. When you're starting out, I mean, it's a lot of work. Of course, you need to do everything yourself, from promotion to marketing to writing your songs and to perform. I mean, everything. Of course, it gets easier when you have been doing it for a while. You get to know what I'm good at and what I need help with. It doesn't have to be a label or another company. It could be a friend or it could be someone else. They just want to, help out. So I don't know if it's like one path, really. It could differ from which persons or people you have around you, I would say. I sold a lot of LPs and some CDs. 2 kids had made this for me. And I was like, oh, you're so cute.
Where I'm from, a lot of people are afraid of changing. And that's the mentality I had when I was younger. It took me a while to realize that people always change and I always change. And I want to be able to do that and to let my listeners know that. I was an angry feminist when I was younger. Now I'm a happy feminist. And maybe I'm not even a feminist in 2 years. Who knows? I'm just kidding. I guess I will be.
She's done it the right way. She's been building her, credibility, her fame, or call it whatever you like. I really believe that she will have a fun, exciting life as an artist. The way she does things now, she's definitely on the right track.
I think without music, I would have gone insane. My goal is just to be happy. To be healthy and happy and to be able to write music and release it. And to do fun things around music. It's never been about making money. It's been about making people feel, making people heal. It's never been about getting a lot of streams. It's been about feeling free and to be able to see the good and the bad and everything in between.
I see the leaves, flowers and bees in the sun. They've always been here, but I forgot to watch Learned how to chase things, but never how to stop. I am not used to this, but I could get used to this, feeling like I am enough without putting on a show. And it's okay if I lose control. I could get used to this version of me. Driving south, haven't been home since December. And this time around, I'm not going there on my own. You've always been here, but only in my mind. I am not used to this, but I could get used to this, feeling like I am enough without putting on a show. And it's okay if I lose control. I could get used to this version of me. 'Cause maybe this is what happiness means.